Hey bourbon fans, I'm Tim, the Suburban Dad, here to help dads find great bourbon. Today we've got Elijah Craig Barrel Proof A124. So let's get to it. So I apologize about my voice. For those of you watching for the first time, this is not my true self. I had some, laryngitis type thing over the weekend and tried to give myself as much time as I could to get over it so I wouldn't sound like this talking to you guys, but this is as good as it's gonna get, apparently. Thankfully, my taste buds and my nose work just fine. I tested those already on some whiskey, so we're good to go. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch A124. The first release of the new year. I was pleasantly surprised to get my hands on this very locally here in Missouri. Now, a few interesting things about this bottle. It is the youngest Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, coming in at only 10 years, 9 months old. Practically an infant as far as Elijah Craig goes. Also, very low proof for Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, only 119 proof. I think there was one batch a couple years ago that was like 118. That was probably the lowest, I think. But this one, compared to C923, which was over 12 years old and over 130 proof, I mean, geez, quite the stark contrast. Enough chatting, let's get right into it. All right, so far the color looks reassuring. It's nice and dark and rich looking. It's actually quite dark. Okay, pleasantly surprised about that. Ooh, the nose is already very tantalizing. Ooh, very rich, caramely butterscotch type notes. Butterscotch pudding, rich, creamy. Wow, no ethanol burn whatsoever. Maybe a little bit of chocolate in there, some nuts. Almond, maybe. Ooh, that's shaping up to be very nice. Yeah, I know my voice is ridiculous. Sorry about it. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. I promised you guys I was gonna do this review this week, and I'm gonna do it, dang it. So ranking it on the nose. Dang, that's really nice. I'm gonna have to go with a 4.5 on the nose. Fantastic already. All right, let's go with the taste. So far, so interesting. Let's have another sip. Palate-wise, I'm going to talk about the mouthfeel in just a minute, and then the finish. Palate strikes me as bright, fruity, but also caramel in there. Some of that more toffee on the palate as opposed to butterscotch. Fruit notes like apple, dried apricots maybe, and then again, caramel, more towards the middle and the end, just a tiny hint of baking spice at the very end towards the finish. Like a creamy taste to it, not quite vanilla, almost. Fruity and caramely toffee. So on the palate, the palate's pretty darn good. It's not what I would expect typically from Elijah Craig, but it's still pretty darn good. One more time. Definitely more creamy vanilla the more I drink it. I'm gonna have to go 3.5 on the palate. Mouthfeel. Mouthfeel is very good. It's the entire tongue, even under the roof of my mouth and the sides of my mouth as well, down the throat. It's very coating, viscous, creamy, and rich. Love that. Gonna go with a 4 on the mouthfeel. Finish. A little bit of oak as you get to the finish. It finishes kind of oaky, not dry at all. Right on the border of sweet oak versus just oaky oak. Finish is medium long. So again, I'm gonna go with a 4 on the finish. That's a pretty good ranking, guys. Highest score possible is 20. This one comes in at 16. So that's pretty darn good. Now, what I want to try is add just a little bit of water. See if that helps things or if it throws things off. Just a couple little drops. Open her up. Maybe it brings out a little bit more fruitiness in the nose. Palate-wise, it kind of kills the flavor a little bit, makes it a little bit duller, a little bit more caramely vanilla, but not in like a real vibrant way, more just like toned down from what it originally was. So not great, doesn't really open things up much. Brings out more baking spices for sure. So if that's more of the note you're looking for, then water's going to be your friend. If you're looking for more of that creamy, bright note, just stick with plain. It's only 119 proof, which I know is still high proof, but it's not nearly as high as some of these Elijah Craig's. I feel like it compares pretty evenly to A123, which by itself is solid, but compared to the other batches from last year was my least favorite. Still a great bottle by itself, like I said. This one is pretty much the same way. I'm enjoying it. It definitely would not win out against C923. There's no way. But it's solid in its own right. Absolutely worth it. Got it for $75 plus tax, so about $80 all said and done. Solid bottle. I'd say it's worth the hunt. Don't kill yourself trying to find it like C923, but still absolutely worth your time and effort a little bit. Have you gotten to try Elijah Craig Barrel Proof A124 yet? If so, what were your thoughts? Till next time, cheers.